The moment I laid eyes on Ben, I knew this wouldn't be like my past conquest. It was different, protected, wrapped in an unseen shield that made my skin crawl, but also made me craving more. I wasn't used to limitations, nor had I ever been denied something I wanted. I had infiltrated enough places of worship to know that even the most devoted had weaknesses, and even the most righteous could be swayed. The key was to move slowly, delicately, unseen, like a whisper of temptation that started as a thought before growing into an unbearable hunger. Ben and Grace were solid, but no human was indestructible. I just needed to find the cracks in their armor. The seduction of a man like Ben required patience and precision. A direct approach wouldn't work. At least, not yet. I had to plant myself in their lives, to become a fixture of their world before they even noticed my true intention. I had to start small. I had to be patient, and I hated every second of that. It was another Sunday service. I watched him all through, and I timed it perfectly, waiting until Grace had turned away, our attention momentarily drawn elsewhere. Then I stepped forward, my voice soft, deliberate, and disarming. "Brother Ben," I smiled. "You and your wife are such an inspiration. Your marriage is beautiful." Ben turned to face me fully. Up close, he was even more captivated than I imagined. Tall, his dark skin flawless. His well-groomed beard framed his sharp jawline. And when he smiled, it was with an ease that would make any woman feel like she was the only person in the room. I smiled back. He had no idea how dangerous I was. "Thank you, Sister Esther," he replied. The name I had chosen, one I know would make me sound pure, biblical, safe. I held my gaze for a second, not longer than necessary. Not enough to be obvious, but enough to make the air between us shift slightly. Then I turned my attention to Grace. She was right there, watching me. I saw it in her eyes, those assessing dark eyes. Surprisingly enough, there was no jealousy, no irritation, but something far much worse, swimming in those pools of black. Discernment. My smile didn't falter. I was used to this. Ben, oblivious, only chuckled and took his wife's hand, squeezing it as if to confirm the bond I was here to break. I watched them walk away, my pulse steady, irritation flowing through my veins, my mind already working. This was only the beginning. They would see all that I have planned for them. They would see what I was up to very soon. And I had it. I knew this assurance within my son Ben was about to be mine. Another opportunity presented itself. A charity outreach event one Saturday afternoon. A community-driven initiative where the church distributed food to the less fortunate. The churchyard was bustling with activities, men offloading large bags of rice, women organizing food packages, and children playing in the dusty corners. The sun was brutal, baking the pavement beneath us. Beads of sweat rolled down my back, dampening the fabric of my dress, but I did not mind. I had bigger things on my mind. Ben was at the far end of the church compound, his sleeves rolled up to his elbows, lifting the crates of bottled water into the back of a delivery van, his muscles flexed beneath his fitted shirt, the afternoon sun highlighting the sheen of sweat on his skin. He walked with a quiet focus, completely unaware of the way the women around him stole glances, including me. This was my moment. I approached with measured steps, deliberately timing it so that I arrived just as he was wiping the brow off the back of his hand. "Need a hand?" I asked, my tone light, warm, a touch of softer than necessary. Ben looked up, smiling at ease, unassuming smile of ease. Clueless man. The kind that made him seem untouched by the corruption of this world. "Ah, Sister Esther, you're always so helpful," he said, his voice filled with genuine gratitude. He reached out for the bottled water I offered, and I made sure, very sure, that our fingers brushed. It was brief, fleeting, but I felt it. A barely noticeable hesitation, a flicker of something in his expression. Ben, being the devoted man he was, didn't pull away sharply. That would have meant acknowledging it. Instead, he let it pass, continuing his work as if nothing happened. But I saw it. The way his posture shifted ever so slightly. The way he cleared his throat and focused on stacking the crates faster. It was nothing. And yet, it was something. Men never realize when the shift begins, when the world around them warps. Just a little. In a way, they can't even explain it. But I can, because I created it. Grace was sharp, but sharpness alone didn't make a woman invincible. A wife doesn't have to see her husband cheat to feel like she's losing him. She only has to wonder, and I was a master at making women wonder. It started after another Sunday service, when the congregation was outside mingling beneath the shade of the palm tree. I waited until Grace was within earshot before I made my move. I turned to a group of women, made my voice just loud enough. Brother Ben is such a rare man, a real leader, a man of wisdom. His wife is so blessed to have him. Heads turned towards me, eyes flickering with amusement and agreement. A few of them nodded. And then there was Grace. She didn't react immediately, not with words, but I saw her grip her Bible tighter just for a second. Good. A seed was only as effective as the soil it landed in, and Grace's soil was fertile with the only one thing I needed: love. And love, when tested, often bore fruit of insecurity. To weaken a marriage, I didn't need Ben to fall for me. I just needed Grace to notice me. So I became a constant presence in his world. At Bible study, I sat near him asking deep, thought-provoking questions. At church meetings, I chimed in his conversation, aligning my views with ease. At volunteer events, I walked beside him, laughed at his jokes, mirrored his energy. It was subtle but effective. And Grace? She saw it all. She saw me talking to him, laughing with him, standing too close but never close enough to be inappropriate. She saw me in places where no one could complain because I wasn't doing anything wrong. But she felt it, and that was enough. The best manipulations are the ones that make a person doubt themselves. And I am a master gaslighter. One evening after choir practice, I found Grace sitting with Hal. They were deep in conversation. They looked relaxed. That was my perfect timing. I approached them, smiling warmly, my voice, my tone full of innocence. "Sister Grace, we missed you at Bible study last night," I said, placing my hand on my chest. Brother Ben gave such an amazing contribution. His insights were really deep. I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to, because I saw it in her eyes. The quick flicker in her eyes, the momentarily pause before she forced a smile. The thought was already in her head now. Ben was there, and I wasn't? Was she talking to him all night? Did he notice her? Did she notice him? I imagined her that night, lying beside her husband, staring at the ceiling, the questions eating at her mind. Oh, this is such a delight. What else did I miss? And the best part, Ben was clueless. It would sense a shift in her energy, but it wouldn't understand why. And so, the distance would begin. This is war working so perfectly. I just needed a little bit more space in that safe haven they call marriage. And that was it. It will be mine. I was a bit worried, wondering if the ritual performed last night would work. I had never, ever doubted my charms before, but this time I did. I wondered why there wasn't any shift in their marriage. I hated the fact I could not spy or monitor them in the spiritual realm. At least that could give me some kind of leverage. But their house was fortified by prayers, and God's shield was over them, and this drove me to the brink of madness. Is this how powerful their God was? Anyways, it did not matter. All I had to do was shake Ben's hand, and that would create an opening. These manipulations took me nowhere. I had to play the big cards now. As I walked towards Ben, already preparing my next move, chanting in my mind and feeling the air shift spiritually. Before I could reach him, Grace stepped in front of me. Not aggressively, not rudely, but deliberately. She stood between us. Her dark eyes fixed on mine, her expression unreadable. "Sister Esther," she said, her tone smooth, firm. "Is there something you need?" I hesitated, not out of fear, but out of surprise. She wasn't being passive. She wasn't ignoring me, hoping I would disappear. She was confronting me, not with words, not with accusations, but with a presence that was so strong, I felt my knees shake. Ben, oblivious to the storm brewing between us, to the battle that had already taken place, he moved for her to move gently, and they both walked away. He was calm. Both of them were. This made me furious. This made me so angry. I was willing to take both of their lives. Even as Ben ushered her to move, she didn't look away from me. Not until Ben guided her away. And for the first time, I felt something unfamiliar. Not fear, not hesitation, something new. I had never lost before, and I wouldn't start now. If I couldn't break them from the inside, I would have to go deeper. I would have to shake their foundation from within, and for that I needed something more than charm. I needed absolute power, terror, darkness.